A reservoir abandoned for 10 years. Suddenly attracts a million anglers. A guy who caught nothing for years hooks a 100-pound grass carp on his first cast. Even a girl who never touched a rod scoops up carp with scales big as manhole covers. And all of this is because I got the fishing ground upgrade system. Just bind the fish pond, and you can boost the fish growth rate. Right now, I'm bringing my first customer to the reservoir. The old angler looks at the murky water. Confused, he asks, "This is the place with giants? And it's 200 a day? Bro, are you extorting me?" I shook my head. "Brother, don't put it so harshly. Business is business, but friendship remains. If it's too pricey, don't fish. But these dozens of miles of mountain road, you'll have to walk back alone." After dropping those lines, I turned and walked to the small wooden shack. The angler's face changed. This place is deep in the mountains. It takes over an hour and a half to drive. If he really had to walk back, he'd be exhausted today. He quickly caught up to the shack door. His tone softened immediately. He said, "Boss, I'll fish. I'll fish, okay? Then give me a ride back after I'm done." I shrugged. "No problem. Don't you know me? Is Brother Fong the type to scam people? The customer is king." The angler gritted his teeth, pulled out his phone, scanned $100. "I'll fish for half a day first." Once the payment was done, he grabbed his gear and headed forward, watching his back. I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Then, with a single thought, I directly sensed the space link to Qingmu Reservoir. Soon, the information inside clearly surfaced in my mind. Name, Fong Yuan. Linked water, Qingmu Reservoir. Water area, 2,200 square meters. Water depth, 10 meters. Current fish growth rate, 2 to 10 times. Price, 200/day. Current anglers, 1. I was originally from Qingmu Village. A few days ago, I came to the reservoir to clear my head. And somehow, I ended up with this space. It's connected to the entire reservoir. I can raise fish in the space and release them into the reservoir once they're big. Plus, I can take out special bait. As long as someone catches a fish raised in the space, I'll get a chunk of withdrawable cash. But Qingmu Reservoir is too remote. Normally, no one wants to come here. I had no choice but to go to the county town and trick an old angler into coming back with me. But half an hour has passed. The old guy is still casting and reeling, and hasn't caught a single thing. I was a bit speechless watching him. This guy's skills are just too poor. I'm counting on him to start my business. Finally got my first customer. Can't let it just fail like this. Thinking of this, I made a tough decision. I reached into the storage space with my mind. Quickly, 3 types of withdrawable bait appeared. There are only these 3 types right now. Each price is more outrageous than the last. And I can only take 1 bag a day. I gritted my teeth. Using what little money I had, I swapped for a bag of small fish bait. Carrying the bait, I walked over to the old angler. "Brother, this isn't working. Half an hour has passed. And not even a bite." The old angler glanced at me, clearly unconvinced. Hard to say if this wild reservoir even has fish. Besides, I'm just chumming the water. Don't you get it? That's how the masters play. Saying that, he reeled in his rod again, ready to rebait his hook. I handed him the stuff in my hand. "Try this instead. I guarantee you'll hit it big today." The old angler's face said, "I don't believe you, bro. This bait of mine is Master Wu's special. Can your stuff even compare?" I smiled. I didn't argue. "Will it work? You'll know once you use it. You'll be thanking me later." After saying that, I put the bait down and turned to leave. The old angler hesitated for a moment, but finally tore open the package. The moment the bag opened, a very unique fragrance drifted out. I can't describe the smell, but it was incredibly enticing. As he smelled it, he even felt an urge to take a bite himself. Now he stopped stalling, quickly swapped his bait, and cast his hook out again. This time, shortly after the bait sank, he felt a heavy weight on his hand. "It's here." Once he was sure it was a fish, the old angler yanked his rod hard. But in his mind, the image of the fish flying out of the water didn't happen. Instead, a massive force surged from the bottom. It nearly dragged him straight into the reservoir. Luckily, he's an experienced angler. With quick reactions, he immediately steadied himself and gripped the rod tight. That fish bolted away, dragging the line. The line sliced through the water, making a loud buzzing sound. The old angler got excited instantly. "Just from this pull, it's at least over 20 pounds. The boss wasn't bluffing. There really are giants here." The tug-of-war lasted for a full half hour before he finally reeled the fish to the shore. As soon as it got close, he shouted at me, "Brother, Quick, come help me net it. Hearing that call, I didn't even look up. Helping customers net fish is something I never do, let alone fishing for them. First, it leads to disputes. Second, I don't want to mess with the space's settlements. So I just pretended not to hear and kept scrolling through my phone, watching pretty girls. The old angler called out a few more times. Seeing that I wasn't coming over, he had to do it himself. He controlled the rod with one hand and held the landing net with the other, slowly guiding the fish's head into the net. Because the size was so extreme, the net could barely hold half of it. The old angler panicked. If a 20-pound beauty like this escaped right in front of him, he'd regret it for a lifetime. The next second, he dropped the rod and the net and lunged forward, right into the water. Not long after, he climbed out of the water clutching the fish, grinning like an idiot. It was at this moment I clearly felt extra money added to the space, along with a first sale reward. Old angler caught 1 grass carp. Original weight, 3 pounds. Space boosted at 7 times. Final weight, 21 pounds. Withdrawable profit, 147 yuan. First fish caught. Newbie gift pack received. Seeing that withdrawable cash in the space, my heart suddenly raced. When I used to work for others, I'd grind all month for just over 3,000. Now, someone catches 1 fish. So I just made a day's wage like before. Of course, old Yudiao was pretty lucky today. He scored a big payout with the first catch. The math here is simple. The grass carp weighed 3 gene at first. Grew 7 times in the space, so now it's 20 per gene. Figure it by market price. That nets me exactly 147. 3 gene is the base weight. 7 times is the boosted size from the space. If more people come in the future, this money will just keep rolling in. Thinking of that, I went ahead and pulled out my newbie gift pack. A second later, the balance I could withdraw in the space shot up by 100,000. I almost burst out laughing on the spot. Meanwhile, old Yudiao was already snapping selfies with his fish. He even shared it on his moments. After posting, he stared at the fish for a while longer. Finally, he reluctantly put it back in the fish basket. Next, he kept placing orders, while scrolling through the moment's comments. Idle people are super busy. Bro Sua, I was almost kidnapped as a kid. Right where you're at. Can you tell me where this is? I'd thank you for life. Lu Changgue, Godfather. I'm your long-lost son, Dad. Where are you, really? Drop a location. I want to come see you right now. Old Yudiao read through the comments, feeling completely satisfied. Just then, his phone suddenly rang. The caller was saved as Idle Guy. He answered the call, and instantly heard, Yudiao bro. Where are you? Come out for drinks tonight. My treat. Old Yudiao smirked. He instantly put on a tone, what did you say? I didn't catch that. Godfather, where are you? He couldn't hold back his grin anymore. But jokes aside, when it comes to a spot like this, he never planned to keep it from his buddy. Soon, he sent the location. Then went back to fishing. After using the bait I gave him, it was like he suddenly leveled up. Over an hour, he pulled up more than a dozen fish in a row. Just after the first one, none were that huge. Most were 4 or 5 gene each. But even so, it was still enough to shock him. But the bait I gave him ran out fast. He didn't think much of it. Just figured the fishing here was good. He switched back to his own bait. But then, after another hour, he only managed to catch 1 small fish. The difference was huge. That's when it hit him. The spot isn't the issue. It's the bait. As he was heading over to ask me for more, a voice called down from up on the dam. Yudiao bro, you really are here. Old Yudiao looked up. Someone was standing at the top of the dam, waving at him. It was none other than his buddy, Lu Changgue. As soon as Lu arrived, he went straight to the fish basket. And when he saw so many fish inside, his eyes nearly popped out. He dropped his stuff, ready to cast right away. Old Yudiao quickly stopped him. This spot has an owner. Let's go pay first. Lu Changgue was stunned. There's an owner out here in the mountains? It's not expensive, just 200 a day. And he said the fish can be sold back. At that point, old Yudiao hesitated a bit himself. Wait, didn't the owner say you can sell back fish? And it's at market price too. Thinking of that, he quickly counted the fish in his basket. The more he counted, the stranger it felt. He realized this isn't paying to fish. He's actually making money. The owner took 200 from him. But he's already caught over 80 gene of fish. At 10 per gene, by market price, that means the owner just gave him 600 plus for free. Realizing that, he thought back to when he doubted me at first, and suddenly felt really guilty. This owner's a good guy. Right then, I rubbed my sore eyes. and checked the time. Almost 5 o'clock. Time to go home for dinner. I got up to leave. As I reached the door, I saw old Yudiao bringing his guest over. "Boss, my friend wants to fish for half a day too." Lu Chonggui also greeted me. He heard from old Yudiao that in just 2 hours he made $600 back. No way he could stay home after that. So he rushed over right away. I just stretched and said, "It's too late, I need to go eat. Let me cash out your fish first. Come early tomorrow." When I said that, old Yudiao got anxious. "Come on, boss. It's just 5 o'clock. Still early." Lu Chonggui chimed in too. "Yeah, boss. We could fish at night too. I've even got all my gear." But I shook my head. "There are wild animals around at night. It's safer to come in the morning. If something happened to you here, I'd be responsible." Since I'd said so much, the two of them had to drop it. I cashed out the fish for old Yudiao at market rate. After releasing the fish back in the water, I just left. Old Yudiao still didn't want to leave, staying by his rod. Lu Chonggui kept him company. Without my okay, he didn't feel right casting his line. They chatted away as they waited. Suddenly, the float jerked hard under the water. "There it is." Lu Chonggui quickly reminded him. Old Yudiao lifted the rod in one smooth motion. The whole rod bent like a perfect arc. "It's gotta be a huge one." He looked super excited, thinking just one thing. Today was definitely the right day to come. But in the next second, his face changed. An even stronger force yanked hard on the line. He was being dragged right toward the water. Good thing Lu Chonggui reacted fast, grabbing him from behind. The two of them pulled together, barely holding their ground. But before they could catch their breath, they heard a sharp snap. The rod couldn't take it. It broke right in two. The front half shot straight into the water, gone in a flash. Both guys were thrown back by the force, landing on their butts. After snapping out of it, they looked at each other, totally confused. That fish must have been 40 or 50 Gene, right? My rod's not cheap. I paid a lot for it. Usually, it can handle 40 plus Gene just fine. But from hook to break, it was only. If Lu Chonggui hadn't held me for those 10 seconds, I definitely would have been dragged under. Lu Chonggui kept staring at the water's surface. He looked pretty serious too. Honestly, it's hard to say. But it's for sure bigger than the first one you pulled up. At least twice the size. Those two have been in the fishing world for years. They're not top tier or anything. But their eyes are sharp. This spot doesn't look that big. Never thought a fish like that would hide here. Wu Diaosua couldn't help but sigh. Lu Chonggui glanced around. He whispered, "This must have been a big reservoir back then. No idea why it got abandoned. Now all the big fish are gathering underneath. Maybe there's an even bigger one down there." After he said that, he suddenly turned to look at Dudiasu. "So, are you in or not?" Dudiasu was quiet for a moment. Then he gritted his teeth. "Even if I have to stay up all night, we're catching that fish tonight. Let's head back to town for some gear." The rods Lu Chonggui brought obviously can't handle something this size. They decided on the spot. Let's get tougher rods from town first. Right then, I was chilling on a lounge chair in the yard, staring at the money in my bank account. Feeling pretty good. Just over 110K. All from one fishing guy. He just brought me over 10K in half a day. This isn't even fishing. They're basically handing me cash. But I didn't plan to use this money on daily life. Since my space can raise fish using the reservoir, I gotta keep adding more fish. The bigger they get, the larger the connected water area. That's how I'll earn more later. Thinking of this, I just closed my eyes and focused my mind into the space. After a few days experimenting, I've got most of it figured out. Basically, there are two things I can work with now. One is the fish growth multiplier, and the other is how much I can connect with the Qingmu reservoir. You can turn the fish multiplier up, or lower it if you want. I tried bumping the upper limit first. Right then, the release range shifts from 2-10x to 2-11x. At the same time, my bank balance dropped by 1,000. I twitched at the cost. 1,000 for just 0.1 times more? That means a whole extra time is 10K? Just thought having 110K was a lot. But it doesn't seem like much now. Even so, I hesitated a bit. In the end, I gritted my teeth and kept raising it. All the way up to 15 times. This round alone, I dropped 50K on it. Even my chest hurt. But really, if you don't invest big, how do you get big fish? If the fish aren't impressive, who would come all the way out here to fish? Once that was done, I thought of something else. There's an underground river under the Qingmu reservoir. I knew that when I was a kid. If I don't handle it now, no matter how many fish I put in, They'll all escape sooner or later. I tried sensing where the space connects to the reservoir. See if I could block the leak. Soon enough, the space reacted. Like some invisible force. Swept right across the bottom. The outlet to the underground river sealed up instantly. Only then did I relax. Once the leak was fixed, it was time to expand. The water area is still too small. Even big fish wouldn't look impressive here. So I spent another 50k from the space. This one's for expanding the connected area. Kept just 10k for emergencies. Soon I could feel it clearly. The area connecting with Qingmu Reservoir grew from 2,200 square meters to 6,600 square meters instantly. Right after that, another clear message hit from the space. The change to the area would officially start at midnight. There's nothing much to do in the countryside at night anyway. I wasn't in the mood to go out. So as soon as it got dark, I went to bed early. I had no idea at the time, but around 9 p.m., a car drove up the dam. The doors opened, and out came 3 people. It was Lu Changgue, Dudiasu, and another guy about their age. Is this really the spot you mentioned? The young guy stood on the dam, looking around at the dark forest, feeling a little uneasy. But Lu Changgue and Dudiasu were super hyped. Don't worry, monkey. There's definitely big ones down there. You saw that video I posted, right? Sure, you weren't here. But when that fish pulled, even both me and Diaoga couldn't hold on to the rod. Didn't even last 2 seconds. It just snapped. The more they talked, the more excited they got. But Monkey still hesitated. Didn't you guys say the owner is here sometimes? Is it okay to fish without paying? Lu Changgue waved him off. We're not skipping. We'll pay if we see him tomorrow, right? Didiasu chimed in. Yeah. Worst case, we don't let him buy the fish we catch. They kept going back and forth, convincing themselves more and more. Monkey had no choice, so he went along with them. The moon was pretty bright tonight, so the 3 of them made their way down the path. Soon they got to the water. Monkey took a look at the not-so-big pond in front, scanning it under the moonlight. He immediately frowned. You sure you got the right place? Can a fish that big even fit in here? Lu Changgue and Didiasu looked at each other and grinned. We wouldn't bring just anyone. If you weren't my buddy, I wouldn't bother showing you. The fisherman set up his gear and said, just wait and see. Tonight's gonna blow your mind. Lu Changgue patted Monkey's shoulder too. Monkey didn't say anything else, just tagged along for the ride. In no time, the 3 sat by the shore and started night fishing. But tonight was just weird. Almost 3 hours passed in a flash. Not even a bite. They didn't get a single real nibble. This is the big surprise you talked about, Changgue? Monkey turned and joked at Lu Changgue. Even Lu Changgue felt deflated. This isn't how it's supposed to go. Just wait a bit more. Maybe the surprise is just about to hit. He checked his phone. 11:59, almost midnight. A new day, maybe our luck turns. Just as Lu Changgue thought that, his phone's clock flipped to midnight sharp. The next moment, the sky went pitch black like someone hit a switch. The moon was just out a second ago, but only a few seconds later, heavy clouds covered everything above. It went pitch black all around. What's going on? Is it about to rain? All 3 looked up. But in the middle of the night, all they saw was darkness. Right then, a loud boom. A bolt of lightning split the night sky, lighting up their pale faces. Then suddenly, a strong wind kicked up in the mountains. The trees in the woods were rattling in the wind. The 3 of them stood in the wind. A chill suddenly ran through them. Damn, didn't the weather forecast say it would be sunny for the next few days? Stop complaining. Let's head back up for now. But they hadn't even started moving yet, when big raindrops started pouring down. The next moment, it instantly turned into a downpour. In a blink, the 3 of them were soaked through. They quickly turned on their flashlights and ran toward the wooden cabin nearby. Once inside, Monkey wiped the rain off his face, then turned to Lu Changgue and said, Changgue, man, is this the surprise you were talking about? Lu Changgue actually found it funny, wringing water from his clothes. As he replied, so, what do you think? Surprised enough? But Old Angler was staring out at the fish. His face had changed. Hurry, let's get up on the dam. He suddenly spoke up, his tone clearly urgent. What's wrong, Angler? Lu Changgue froze for a moment. Old Angler pointed outside. If it keeps raining like this, down here is definitely gonna flood. Lu Changgue walked to the door, glanced out. The water level wasn't that high inside to start with, and there were still a dozen meters to the shore. But with how hard it was coming down, staying below the dam really wasn't safe. Even if it might not flood in the end, it still felt risky being somewhere this low. The three of them talked it over and decided to just run through the rain back to the car on the mountain. But the rain was way too heavy, and the path got super slippery. They slipped and fell who knows how many times on the way, before finally scrambling back to the dam in a mess. Once up there, they all jumped into the car right away. It was the middle of summer, but they were still shivering from the cold. The next morning, I went to the reservoir. That rainstorm last night really shocked me too. It poured for hours straight. When I got up in the morning, all those fields outside that had cracked open before were now flooded. But as I walked up onto the dam, I had to pause for a second. Those fishing guys got here early. There was a car parked up on the dam. I recognized it. It was the one that guy from yesterday drove. Anyway, I didn't think too much about it, and looked out toward the reservoir first. With just one glance, I knew the whole situation. The reservoir had tripled in size, maybe even more. Now it finally looked decent. But that little wooden cabin really made my heart ache to look at. It's already half flooded. I stood on the dam and took a look. Didn't see anyone down there. So I turned and headed toward that car. When I got to the car, I glanced inside. I froze right there. 3 big guys were sprawled all over inside the car. And all of them were naked, sleeping soundly. I instinctively took a step back. Wondered if I was just seeing things. Better not mess with this kind of scene. I know my limits pretty well. So I just went back to my car, grabbed my fishing rod and some regular bait, headed down. I'm here to fish too. Now the water's spread out wide. I wanted to see how the fishing was. Pretty soon after, the sun rose over the hill. The old fisherman woke up squinting. It rained hard last night. They didn't dare drive back in the storm. Had no choice but to camp out in the car all night. He got out and looked over at the reservoir. Sure enough, that wooden shack from yesterday was underwater. He immediately felt glad he reacted fast last night. Looking around again, the reservoir obviously looked bigger now. At least 3 times the size of yesterday. Right then, he spotted someone by the water. "Boss, you're up early," he shouted at me. Then hurried back to the car, grabbed his gear and dashed down. "Since we're all up, let's get back to work." Monkey and Lu Changui heard him, and suddenly perked up too. They rushed to put their clothes on, then followed him down. "Boss, did you start business yet?" The old fisherman ran over to me and asked right away. I glanced at all 3 of them, probably with a weird look. But I still told him, "Not yet. I just got here too." While talking, I glanced at their half-wet clothes. "Did you guys go swimming this morning? Your clothes are still wet." Lu Changui walked over, looking helpless. "Don't get me started, boss. We were night fishing last night. When that downpour hit, almost got washed away." I was stunned for a second, and then realized I had misunderstood. But this reminded me of something. I really didn't think about it. The area expanded and got connected, because of the heavy rain and the old water flow backing up, forcing the water level up. Looks like in the future, when expanding, I either do it gradually, or clear everyone out first before starting. "Boss, all 3 of us are fishing today. We'll send you 600 for the day." The old fisherman already pulled out his phone. Business is back. I felt relieved. Someone's finally paying again. But just as I was getting ready to check the settlement in the space, I suddenly stopped. The usual 200 per day had dropped to 80. I glanced at the reservoir, then at the expanded water. I figured it out fast. The water's bigger now, but there are still the same old fish. When the fish spread out, it's not as concentrated as yesterday, so the price drops too. "Boss, it's done," the old fisherman called out from there. I snapped out of it, and quickly said, "With all the new water, the fish won't gather up. So it's 80 per person, return the fish." Still the same rules as yesterday. When I said this, all 3 of them froze. "Boss, is that necessary? We didn't even think 200 a day was expensive." "Yeah, old do. We earned over 700 yesterday fishing with you. Now it's just 80 today. You're hardly making anything." I shook my head. I can't just take money randomly. I'm starting to get the hang of this. The rate needs to match the fishing conditions, or else the earnings on that side will get messed up too. It's 80. If you want to fish, grab your rods. If not, that's fine. The 3 of them looked at each other, like they'd never met anyone who didn't want their money. Finally, the old fisherman just laughed. "Boss, if you're giving us a deal, then we'll take it." With that, he scanned the code. Each of the 3 found a spot and put in their rods. But their luck was clearly worse than yesterday. They sat from morning till noon, and of the 3, Only Lu Changui caught a fish. But just that one was enough to excite them all day. It was a crucian carp over 5 pounds. Not a grass carp, not a carp, just a crucian carp. And it looked totally wild. Usually in wild reservoirs, a crucian over a pound or 2 is rare. Now a 5-pounder shows up. Anyone would be shocked. So there's definitely more monsters down there. Lu Changui immediately held up the fish for a photo and posted it on his Moments. So Gu edited it for me. You can't even see any edits. That crucian is more than half the size of my hand. How could it be real? There were extra comparison pics posted below. Just a few minutes after the post, the comments started coming in. Interior renovation. Damn, Jinger. Did you actually go find your dad? Deep so Gu, where'd you learn those editing skills? Teach me, busy guy. Finally, the dads found their group. Can you share the spot? Let me come join you. Hey, interior renovation. Everyone on Deep side was having a blast. But I wasn't happy at all. Because I was still skunked. Didn't catch a single fish. I sat by the shore thinking for ages. And only came to one conclusion. There are just too few fish in this reservoir. It was always a wild reservoir anyway, with an underground river connected below. Sometimes fish swim in from the underground river. But obviously not many. So before, when the water was smaller, it was worth 200 a day. But now? With the water spread out. Same old fish in a bigger area. And price dropped right down to 80. It's simple. More water. Fish are spread out. So it's a lot harder to catch them. Basically, I need to add more fish. Can't just wait for the underground river to deliver. And the fish from the underground river aren't very big, usually. Once I figured this out, I was starting to get hungry. Fished all morning with nothing. Stomach comes first. So I packed up my stuff and planned to head back for something to eat. When I passed by those 3, it hit me. They'd also been out here all night. Are they not hungry yet? You guys hungry? Wanna come to my place and grab a bite? The old fisherman heard I was leaving and waved his hand. No. Boss, we've once stayed 2 days straight without eating a meal and still never left our fishing spots. But as soon as he finished talking, the monkey next to him frowned and chimed in. But I'm starving. Even Lu Changui gulped at that. Boss, why don't you bring us some food? We'll pay for it. Double the price is fine. From the look on their faces, they were clearly about to give in too. I thought about it and finally agreed. Just need to ask my aunt to cook a pot when I get back. She was free today anyway. Plus, I could make some money on the side. After we settled the price, I turned around to leave. But old angler called me back. Boss, do you still have the same bait I bought yesterday? I stopped walking and looked back at him. Yeah, 200 a pack. I had no plans to raise the price. However much I take out, that's how much I sell it for. Compared to the profit I get from them fishing, the bait money means nothing. But the monkey heard that. And his eyes went wide. Whoa, boss, is your bait made of gold? 200 a pack. Before I could even say anything, old angler scolded him first. What do you know? This pack might get you 10 or 20 pounds of fish. Stop making a fuss. I followed up and said, 1 pack, 1 pound of fish. Fair deal. Boss, you're something else. Lu Changui looked like he couldn't hold it in either. He's never seen bait this expensive before. But old angler didn't hesitate at all. He just took out his phone. Boss, give me your code. I'll take a pack. Lu Changui looked at him. Old Du, you're really buying this? I've still got a few packs of bait in my car. All secret recipes from Master Wu. But old angler ignored him, paid for the bait, and opened the package right there. The next moment, the smell came out. Lu Changui couldn't hold back and said, Man, this smells amazing. As soon as the bag was opened, a really unique scent spread out. The monkey was already hungry, and the smell made him feel even worse. He took 2 steps closer right away. But he couldn't hold out for long, and came over again. He stared at the pack, drooling. Soj, this stuff is something else. It smells special. Old angler found him in the way and pushed him aside. Now he just wanted to try it out first. See if yesterday's crazy streak was really because of this pack. And the results showed up fast. The rod had just been cast for a few seconds. And the first fish came up today. And that was just the start. After that, as long as he threw out the rod, sometimes in a few seconds, or just a couple minutes tops, he'd get a bite nearly every time. It was basically non-stop fish. And every fish was big. The lightest weighed 5 or 6 pounds. It actually takes quite a bit of time. Monkey and Lu Changui were so focused, their eyes were glued. At this point, they totally got it. The problem isn't about skills at all. It's just that the boss's bait is amazing. Both of them didn't say a word, and rushed right over. They each grabbed a handful from the bait box at the solo fisherman's station. Wu Diaosuo looked down, and saw he barely had a third of his bait left. He felt so bad, his face was all wrinkled up. But that wasn't even the worst part for him. After Monkey and Lu Changui got just a bit of that bait, it's like they suddenly figured it out. Not too long after, they both started catching fish one after another. And every single one was pretty big. The bank was full of shouts, again and again. The three of them just kept getting more hyped up. They were all saying how awesome it was. I was already on my way home by then. But the earnings notifications in my space just kept popping up non-stop, jumping higher and higher each time. I really was making money. But I still felt a little off inside. It's hard to explain that feeling. Like the fish weren't caught using my own skills, but with something else totally carrying me. I was earning money, but it just felt a bit empty. After I got back to the yard, I first went to find Second Aunt, who was chopping pig feed. I told her everything that happened by the reservoir. Her eyes lit up the moment she heard it. Xiaofeng, you're saying 30 per person? Make it and send it over to them. Yeah, 90 for all three. Second Aunt hurried up, let's get cooking. Those guys are still waiting over there. Okay, I'll get right on it. As soon as the words left my mouth, Second Aunt put down her knife and turned into the veggie garden. Every house in the country grows veggies. You can grab some from anywhere around the yard. So a meal barely costs anything. Second Aunt's family also raises pigs. Most leftovers go to feed them. As for meat, they never run short. Whenever the house runs out of meat, they just butcher a fat pig and split it with neighbors. The rest gets packed in the freezer. So cooking this meal, the cost is pretty much nothing. 90 for these three guys is basically free for her. I wasn't just standing around. I helped start the fire by the stove. Once the flames shot up, I kept feeding wood and started talking. Second Aunt, once the reservoir gets going, you should just come cook for me there. When there's a crowd, lunch is definitely needed. That place is so far from the city, they can't possibly go back to eat. Second Aunt was a bit embarrassed hearing that. She laughed and waved her hand. That's actually a good thing. I'm just worried my cooking isn't good enough. No worries. City folks love country stove meals now. I kept chatting with her. But as we talked, I started feeling uneasy. Things were way too quiet in my space. Normally, after the solo fisherman used that bait, there should have been some action. Don't tell me they're almost out after just a bit of fishing? That can't be. 20 minutes ago, by the reservoir were Sogu and Guegu. Everyone was fired up over there. Monkey let out a huge shout. His fishing pole was bent like a fully drawn bow. He was being dragged forward. His feet kept slipping. It was obvious he couldn't handle it alone. The solo fisherman and Lu Changui saw what was happening, didn't even hesitate, dropped their own rods to the side, and rushed over to help. When Second Aunt and I finished packing up the food and carried it up to the dam, we caught the scene just in time. The three were holding on to each other for dear life. Looked like they were stacked together wrestling. 1 minute leaning left, the next, wobbling right. Second Aunt frowned watching them. What are these young guys doing? I didn't bother explaining. Just grabbed the food and headed down with her. Once we got close, I shouted boss at them. Lunch is here. Solo fisherman didn't even turn around. Just said, leave it on the side. Can't you see we're busy? I set the food down nearby and took a closer look. You've been fighting it a while, huh? Looks like this one's pretty big. Lu Changui was struggling and yelled at me. Boss, your bait is really wild. Pretty much a bite as soon as it hits the water. Monkey chimed in. And the fish here are just crazy. Never caught a small one yet. I laughed and said. Then help spread the word for me. If more people come later, I'll stock even bigger fish. Solo fisherman turned and shouted to me. Promoting is easy. Just use your phone and record us. Put it online, it'll blow up for sure. I was a bit speechless hearing that. With the way they looked right now, it was definitely eye-catching. But thinking about it, he actually had a point. I fish all the time, but haven't messed with short videos much. Though I know about some fishing creators. Millions of followers, easily. Fishing content always gets views. Lots of people don't even fish. They just love watching big catch videos. If I filmed them fighting this one, maybe I really could attract folks. With that in mind, I just whipped out my phone and recorded the three of them. I ended up filming for over an hour. In between, Second Aunt remembered her pig feed wasn't done, so she went home first. Another hour passed. The three finally dragged the fish ashore. Once the fish hit the tank, I immediately felt something. My space finally reacted. Monkey caught a black carp. Original weight, 4 gene. Raised in my space up to 9 times bigger. Came out at 486 gene. At the same time, I got another payout I could withdraw. 8,748 yuan, no wonder they got so worked up. It was already a big fish. And got leveled up in my space. No wonder it was ridiculously heavy. Big ones are always worth more. So yeah, quick, quick, quick. Take a pic with me and my big prize. Monkey was so excited his voice was trembling. You could tell? He'd never been this pumped in his life. The three posed around the fish, switching up angles for photos. They messed around for ages. While shooting, Lu Chonggui suddenly turned to ask me, "Boss, can we not recycle this fish? I'd like to show it off around town." Solo Fisherman and Monkey heard that, and immediately stopped and looked at me, all full of hope. I was stunned for a second, then nodded. Just this once, not making it a habit. As soon as I said that, the three freaked out on the spot. "Boss, you're awesome. Boss, I love you." My face totally fell. I don't love you. Honestly, I just agreed along with them. Let them take the fish on a tour around the county. That works better than if I bragged 100 times myself. And I can see what kind of guys these three are now. I've got them figured out. If I really let them take the fish away, they'd probably circle the whole county several times. By then, every angler in town would know about my place. That's all money. But I know full well, there still aren't enough fish in the reservoir yet. If I don't use that special bait from the space, regular fishing folks coming here might sit all day and not catch a thing. These three at least know their stuff. But after trying for so long, they only got this one big catch. If more people come in the future, and everyone keeps getting skunked, the hype will die down sooner or later. Having just a few monster fish isn't enough to hold up the place. Still need to figure out how to stock more fish. Doesn't have to be giant ones. Just raise them in the space for a while first, then put them back in the reservoir. After I gave them the green light, the three of them totally lost interest in fishing. They grabbed the fish and headed up the dam. It took them a while, but they finally strapped the fish to the back of their car. That black carp was almost 1.5 meters long. Probably wild. Eats just about anything. The meat's not that thick. The three guys said goodbye to me, then hopped in the car and left. When they were far enough away, I slowly walked down to the water. I saw those untouched boxes of food. For a moment, I felt a little emotional. Fishing fanatics really are on another level. They can even forget to eat. I didn't feel like carrying it back either. So I just mixed the leftover bait and food together, and dumped it all into the reservoir to feed the fish. Looks like there won't be any more new visitors today. I plan to pack up and head back to the village. Sort out the photos and videos I shot during the day. And as soon as I turned around, a huge splash suddenly erupted behind me. I reacted fast, and turned my head right away. It was where I'd just dumped the leftovers. The water was splashing up high. Then a huge black shadow glided under the surface. I couldn't see it clearly, but just that glimpse of its outline told me it was massive. Had to be several meters long, at least. My heart tightened instantly. Right now, the fish I can release from the space only go up to 15 times normal size. For something to get this big, it was probably huge to begin with. Plus, it's grown almost to the max limit there. So it looks this terrifying. Thinking about it, I felt a little regret. If I'd just caught it on video and put it online, all those trophy chasers would have gone nuts right away. But I let it go quickly. There'll be plenty more chances later anyway. This business is just starting out. When I got home, I took out 100 yuan and handed it to Auntie. "This is today's meal money." Auntie took it. She grinned from ear to ear. 100 yuan isn't much to him. But this is the first time he's seen real cash from someone like me in the city. It means something different. When I first got back to the village, all the gossipy ladies nearby talked a lot behind my back. They said I was young but refused to go out and work. That I couldn't even earn any money. How would I afford a wife? Now they see I can actually make something happen. And he even earned a little spending money. Of course he's happy. "Xiaofeng, are those fishermen coming again tomorrow? Do you still need to cook for them?" Auntie stuffed the money in her pocket. Casually asked me. "They'll come, and there'll be even more people tomorrow." I had to sound sure. We didn't have a computer at home, so I had to use my phone to get a video editor app. But I really had no clue how to use it. Kept fiddling with it. And still had no idea after all that time. The more I tried, the more annoyed I got. I almost just slapped something together. But then I thought again. If I'm going to post this, and it's too sloppy, I might as well not post at all. Suddenly, I thought of someone. Searched through WeChat for a while. Found her pretty quickly. My college classmate, Lee Ruashi. She's a small-time streamer now. Focuses mainly on looks. Back in college, I thought she looked nice enough. Just didn't pay much attention to her own style. But now she puts on a bit of makeup. Uses a beauty filter. And already looks like an internet celebrity. But she doesn't do suggestive stuff. So she never really blew up. She only has about 10 or 20,000 followers. She posts a lot of short videos. Editing should be easy for her. We haven't talked in ages though. But just asking for a little favor. She probably wouldn't turn me down. My username has Yuan in it. So I picked a pretty random online name back then. Ching Yuan, are you there? Help me out with something. She replied really fast. Ruashi, not unless you pay. I instantly frowned. Do I look like the type who disappears for years? And shows up just to borrow money? Ching Yuan, it's not about money. If you want something, say it directly. Ching Yuan, can you edit videos? Ruashi, yeah. What's up? Ching Yuan, can you edit one for me? Ruashi, 50, friend discount. Ching Yuan, come on, Ruashi. That's old classmate price. Don't complain. I looked at the chat window. A bit speechless. I used to think she was easygoing. Now it's all about money right away. Ching Yuan, fine. 50 it is. I'll send you the clips. Ruashi, transfer or red packet? Ching Yuan, in the end. I sent her a 50 yuan red packet. As soon as she got the money, she started working on the video. I still felt a little awkward. We used to just be simple classmates. Now everything starts with the price. But thinking about it, that's just normal. She doesn't owe me anything. She doesn't have to work for free just because we're classmates. Otherwise, I'd just be taking advantage. I get it. But I still felt uneasy for a bit. Then she messaged again. I opened it up. Ruashi. Those 3 idiots in the video. You were there fishing with them, right? Ching Yuan, she dropped a video link right away. I tapped it. Title, driver in the front car hooked a giant fish. Hung it from the trunk and drove around for 2 hours. The video shows an SUV driving down the street. There's this huge fish hanging from the back. I instantly recognized the filming angle. Yep, that was those 3 guys. They actually drove around town like that. And the person filming managed to keep up. Following them over an hour. The rest is mostly sped up. I checked the comments too. A few in and I nearly laughed out loud. People online are really good at joking. The driver isn't showing off the fish. He just got lost going home. Drove circles around the city for ages. Random, why not put the fish in the car? Reply, already loaded it. It's just a fish, come on. I remember that was July 15, 2008, at 4:24 p.m. A 16 or 17 pound big black carp slipped away. Well, it got away. Guess we just weren't meant to meet. 5,729 days have passed. And I never really cared. Should the traffic police call out this driver? And criticize him on national TV? But most of the comments were just asking for the location. Or straight up wanting the driver's number. One comment really blew up. Don't you know you can get the owner's number from the license plate? I already found it for you. Address below. Replies got even wilder. Bro, hope you have a safe life. Dude, I was kidnapped as a kid. I remember passing this street. Can you post the exact address again? Wish you a long life. And the likes on this video went from a few thousand when I clicked to 20,000 in just a bit. Shows it really went viral. Ching Yuan, I opened a fishing spot. They were fishing at my place. Ruashi, your hometown has places like that? Ching Yuan, yeah, not bad. Got even bigger fish inside. Ruashi. Fang Yuan, where's your house exactly? Ruashi. We've graduated for years now. I kind of want to come check it out. Ching Yuan, you fish too? Ruashi, nope. But I can learn. I didn't think much. Just sent her my location. One more person, one more customer. It's all money for me. Not long after, Lee Ruashi sent over the edited video. Ruashi, done. Ruashi, I made 2 versions of this. Different content in each. I can help you post one too. Ching Yuan, sure. I downloaded and watched it first. Really well made. The title, rhythm, voiceover. She totally nailed those 3 in their goofy vibe. Caught their whole energy. Qingmu Reservoir. Monster Fish Paradise. Posted it right after. Worried about views. So I spent a few hundred on promotion. I don't mind that little bit of spending. There's still good cash coming in now. You gotta spend where you should. After all of this, I suddenly felt exhausted. Laid on the bed. And just knocked out. Got up super early to watch the water rise at the reservoir. So couldn't hold it anymore. When I opened my eyes again, it was Auntie waking me up. It was already dinner time. This self-built house is 3 stories high. Back when it was built, all 3 brothers chipped in. Second Uncle Fong has stayed in the village all these years. He lives on the 1st floor. My family is on the middle floor. Third uncle is always away. So the 3rd floor naturally belongs to me. When I came downstairs, I happened to see second uncle was back already. There was a young girl, about 13 or 14, in the house. She was scooping rice with a spoon. That's second uncle's daughter, Fong Yaya. She just started 7th grade this year. I casually glanced at the date. It was already Friday. Bro, come eat. When Fong Yaya handed me the bowl, she smiled at me. I took the bowl. I asked how school was going. It's alright. Just some parts the teacher says are hard to understand. Hearing that, I pretty much knew what was up. This kid is probably not super gifted either. That reservoir? Someone went fishing there today. 3 people showed up today. Looks like, in a few days, there'll probably be dozens. When second aunt heard dozens, she paused with her chopsticks. She knows. Fishing over there costs money. If dozens show up in a day, that'd bring in thousands, maybe tens of thousands, in a day. Of course, she still doesn't know there are basin there. I didn't beat around the bush about this. I looked straight at second aunt. If a lot of people really show up, go help me cook over there. I'll pay you 6,000 a month. Whoa, that's way too much. Second aunt quickly waved her hand. She was obviously shocked by the amount. Aunt Wang from the next village works in a county restaurant, and she only makes just over 3,000 a month. Even 1,000 or 2,000 would be plenty for me. She's telling the truth. This pay already way exceeds what she expected. I just smiled. It's fine. When more people come, you won't be able to handle it by yourself. We'll need to hire someone else. If Aunt Wang is willing to join, I'll pay her 4,000. Second uncle chimed in, let's not rush this. The reservoir isn't really up and running yet. It's not too late to talk about it when you get things going. I just nodded after hearing him. Didn't argue with him. Let it go. But he was confident. With that area connecting to Chimu Lake, if my work with the medicine circle doesn't pan out, that would be a total waste. After eating, I went back upstairs. As soon as I entered, I saw the message notification sitting at 99 plus. That video has clearly gone viral. Likes have already surpassed 10,000. And the comment section is buzzing. Someone posted a photo of a girl, asking if he could bring her along to fish. Some were chasing for the exact location, while others sarcastically said it was clearly staged, treating everyone like fools. But one type of comment left me feeling a bit puzzled. Coming over from Ruashi's side, and there were quite a few of these messages. I went straight to Lee Ruashi's profile. One look and I was stunned. I remembered very clearly that Lee Ruashi's past content was mostly live stream clips and daily life stuff. But now, the top row of her profile was almost entirely the fishing videos I sent her. Even the clip of that car driving around with big fish was edited into a collection by her. The likes on every single one weren't low. Thousands on the low end, over 100,000 on the high end. Her follower count jumped too, from 20,000 straight to nearly 100,000. I have to say, this woman really knows how to ride a trend. What made me feel good was that in the comments of every video, she pinned a message, Qingmu Reservoir, a paradise for giants. No wonder there are so many people lately. It's not just my own account that took off. More importantly, Lee Ruashi built up the hype for Qingmu Reservoir first. Thinking of this, I felt a sense of urgency. I need to find a fish source fast. Otherwise, if it gets really popular, the reservoir's stock won't hold up. And that would be a problem. But just then, as I usually do, I sensed the space and the reservoir status. With this check, I froze on the spot. The information surfacing in my mind was different from before. Name, Fong Yuan. Age, 25. Connected waters, Qingmu Reservoir. Water area, 7,201 square meters. Water depth, 15 meters. Current stockable fish size, 2-17x. The higher the spec, the lower the chance. Current fee reference, 281 per day. Wait, why is it 281 now? I frowned, staring at that line for a long time. I couldn't figure it out no matter how I thought. In the end, I could only guess that most likely, from the underground river, another school of fish had migrated back in. Since the space and reservoir connected, I could somewhat sense changes in the fish stock. The current fish density in the reservoir is clearly a notch higher than before. Though the fish situation isn't urgent yet, I still plan to ask the fish dealers first. Contacting early is better than running out later. And after these past 2 days, I've completely figured it out. What's the best way to hook an angler? Big fish. The bigger they are, the more obsessed they get. So my plan is clear. Keep pushing the size of the fish that the space can release. As long as there are enough giants, the attraction for anglers will be stronger. Thinking this, I didn't hesitate and dumped most of my cash into the space to raise the fish limit. The original max size was 15x, and I forced it up to 17x. But the chance for 17x is ridiculously low. Only 0.1%. As for the lower limit, I haven't touched it. It's not that I forgot, but I never intended to raise it. If even the smallest size is too high, then every fish in the reservoir would be huge. Average anglers might not land a single one all day. They'd either snap lines or lose fish, or they couldn't land them even if hooked. That wouldn't be good for the fishing spot. You need monsters to draw a crowd, but you also need fish that people can enjoy catching and successfully bring ashore. After setting up the space, I contacted the fish suppliers. But after asking around, my head started to ache. A cheap truck of fish costs 20 to 30,000. The slightly better ones can cost 100,000. If I want giants over 10 pounds, it basically starts at 100,000. With the money I have now, I can't afford a whole truckload. But those 100k plus trucks of big fish really tempted me. If one fish is already 10 plus pounds, and I keep it in the space for a while, if I hit a high multiplier when taking it out, wouldn't it easily top 100 pounds? Just the thought of it made my heart race. Pity I don't have the capital yet, so I have to wait. I just hope those anglers come quickly and bring me their money soon. Early the next morning, I rushed to Qingmu Reservoir. I thought I was early enough, but at the dam, I found 3 cars already parked there. A few people were gathered, looking at the water, talking among themselves. Seeing me arrive, they immediately came over. Leading them were those 3 characters from yesterday. Morning, boss. Morning. Had breakfast yet, boss? Others in the cars heard the commotion, got out, and walked over. Counting them all, there were 8 people, all surrounding me. This scene even stunned me for a second. I greeted everyone first, then got straight to the point, stating today's rules: 281 for the day. You handle the catch yourself. If you want to sell them back, it's market price. I'd calculated this price carefully last night. Yesterday's hype was so fast, it meant there's no lack of people. Since the reservoir has stock, let them take the fish. Anyway, once space-reared fish enter the reservoir, their size multiplier is locked. Who catches the big one is all down to luck. High multiplier fish are rare anyway. Besides, I'll keep buying fish later, raise them in the space, and release them bit by bit. As for this current batch, I'd actually prefer they take more away. Hearing this, they were all delighted. Boss, you're generous. You're not running a fishery. You're doing charity. Clearly, they were confident in their skills. Boss, here's the money. Give us that bait from yesterday. 1 bag each. The 3 lowered their voices, not wanting others to hear. One of them specifically confirmed. Same old rule, right? 1 bag a day? 200 a bag. Boss is rich, so don't bother counting. Yeah, payment's done. With a thought, I took 3 bags of bait from the space. But I didn't produce them right there. I walked over to the van, pretended to rummage around, then handed the stuff to them. The 3 took it. Everyone obviously felt relieved. Good thing I didn't let that secret slip out yesterday. Otherwise, this luck might not have come their way today. Solo fishing song. Let's get our story straight. No one talks about this to outsiders from now on. Just come see the boss secretly every day to buy. Not long after, another car pulled up above. The car had just stopped. No one had gotten closer yet, but their voices carried down first. So this is the place. Even somewhere this remote gets visitors. Boss? Is the boss here? Right then, I'd just taken my rods out. I was planning to cast a couple lines myself. Honestly, it's embarrassing to admit. Ever since I took over this spot, I haven't caught a single fish myself. Today, with the ticket price up to 281, I figured I could win back some pride. But just as I was about to start fishing, another customer showed up. The guy saw me, grabbed his gear and walked down right away. We chatted for a bit. That's when I realized he was from the next county. Drove all the way early in the morning just to come here. He only came to try his luck. But turns out, the online location was actually real. That got me excited right away. I explained the rules to him, took his money, and let him fish. But just as he cast his line, another car engine started up above. I glanced up at the dam's edge, sighed helplessly. Looks like fishing's not happening for me today. So I walked to the edge of the dam, sat down and just waited for people. Sure enough, a few minutes later, another car arrived. This time, it was a woman who got out. And she was an old acquaintance. Who else but Li Ruoshi? Surprised, Fang Yuan? She walked straight over to me as soon as she got out. The Li Ruoshi in front of me now looked pretty different from how I remembered. Back in school, she almost never wore makeup, and dressed pretty simply. Her family was just average. But now she was stylish from head to toe, with light makeup on. She was prettier than before, and really stood out. That natural student vibe was basically gone. I smiled and called out, "Hey, the beauty's here. Welcome." Li Ruoshi checked out the reservoir first, then glanced at everyone around. So many people. I thought I was here early enough. I grinned. Well, you made this happen. Once you spread the word, this place almost turned into a hotspot. Li Ruoshi got a little closer, and her tone turned playful. So, how are you gonna thank me? A light fragrance drifted over. I instinctively stepped back a bit. Li, the internet celebrity. How do you want me to thank you? Look at you. Li Ruoshi rolled her eyes at me. Her look was kind of flirty on purpose. Then she got straight to the point. I want to stream here at your place. I'll help you stay trending. How about we split the earnings 50-50? I was stunned. You want to do dance streams here? What are you talking about? Li Ruoshi was a bit speechless. I used to do looks-based streams. I made money from the big spenders. Now I've got this chance. I want to switch to fishing streams. I really think she's a smart one. But being a fishing streamer isn't as easy as it sounds. You need real skills to make it. But I didn't say that out loud. Li Ruoshi quickly added another line. I'm not just talking about tips. If we can sell products too later, that counts as well. I looked at her, thought for a few seconds, and still shook my head. I don't want your share. If you want to stream here, go ahead. Of course, I know exactly what Li Ruoshi means. Now, she's all about efficiency and profit. Yesterday, she was sweetly calling guys brother on camera. Today she's thinking about switching tracks to ride the hype. I can't deny she's got skills. And she's decisive enough. Honestly, I kinda admire her. But I also get it. You can't handle women like her easily. If profits come into play later, any disagreement could cause drama. I don't want that headache. Li Ruoshi looked a bit disappointed, but quickly bounced back. Alright, it's a deal. I'll stream here from now on. Don't kick me out. Relax, you being here is easy on the eyes. You actually make the place look better. We chatted for a bit more. I also learned what she'd been up to these last 2 years. Looks-based streaming seems easy, but you have to keep those big tippers happy. Some people barely tip any money, yet have tons of demands. When Li Ruoshi talked about those guys, her tone was full of disdain. Just sending a few bucks. And they want to meet in person? Keep dreaming, I chimed in. Most of them. Ruoshi just laughed. It's okay. I've made over 3 million. That's when I realized her level. Driving a 3 million yuan car on these village roads? She doesn't hold back. The main road in the village is paved. But the way to the reservoir is still dirt. It rained the day before yesterday, so the road is even worse. Just then, the car door opened. A woman got out. Fang Yuan glanced over and straightened up a bit. She was tall, dressed casual but stylish. Long hair draped over her shoulders. Really stood out. She had a pretty, delicate face. Her eyes were hidden behind sunglasses. She had this confident vibe. When she got out, she spotted us right away and walked straight over. Boss, you sure look good. But your tone's a bit cold. I raised my hand slightly. I'm just here to fish. 281 yuan a day, you keep whatever you catch. Selling back fish is at market price. I was just saying that when someone suddenly started yelling. Totally cut her off. Damn, bro. You killed it. Didn't you watch the videos before coming? You're still using a tiny pole to compete with me? That guy shouted, I'm done. This is a ripple dragon rod. What's even in this water, some kind of monster? Maybe you bought a fake one? Someone else chimed in. But that guy didn't get mad. And just pulled out his backup rod, ready to go again. He just kept going. 281 a day is really something. Honestly, by now, I could feel some earnings coming in from my system. Nothing crazy. It's mostly 5 or 6, maybe 7 pounds each. Of course, at my spot, It's always been tough to catch small fish. Boss, do you have rods for sale? Let me try a few casts. Then the woman in sunglasses suddenly spoke up. I sized her up. You came fishing without a rod? She really didn't seem like a real angler. She casually replied, I'm just here traveling. Who brings a fishing rod on a trip, anyway? I'll pay double. Are you selling or not? I was amused. Do I look like I need your money? The lady didn't get mad. Instead, she nodded. Fair enough. You've got good judgment. I didn't keep going with the banter. I just pulled out my personal set of gear. I'll sell it to you cheap. I'm not trying to rip you off. She gave it a look. And nodded. Okay. Then glanced at the rest of my gear nearby. How about selling the rest too? I had no choice, so handed over my backpack as well. She scanned to pay, walked a couple of steps, then suddenly turned back. Wait, one more thing. She reached out her hand, looking annoyed. What about bait? That's when I realized. I'd actually used up my regular bait in the morning. Honestly, I figured I wouldn't get a chance to fish today. So I tossed the rest in the water for the fish. Now I really didn't have any left on me. But I could still bring out 2 more packs from storage today. So I said, 500 a pack. Want one? The lady froze for a second. Then laughed in disbelief. Are you robbing me? She didn't seem too happy. Fang Yuan just ignored her. Buy it or not? Or ask someone else. Maybe another angler will sell you some. That wasn't a lie. With her looks, let alone buy, guys would probably line up to give her some. But she clearly didn't want the hassle. She just scanned and paid. 500 it is. Then I took a pack of neutral bait out of my system, pretended to rummage by my car, acted like I grabbed it from inside, and handed it over. She took it, gave me a look, didn't say anything else, and headed down to the water. Li Ruoxi was watching nearby, totally amused. Fang Yuan, now I get it. Why you can't find a girlfriend? I was baffled. Why? Li Ruoxi laughed out loud. A guy like you deserves to be single. You're so blunt, do your parents know? I was speechless. What, you want me to give it for free? Just because she's pretty? Anyway, that bait really does cost 500. It's not like I jacked up the price. I'm already being fair. Li Ruoxi laughed even harder. Then she got up and walked straight to her car. I called after her, where you going? Going back to the county to buy gear. Li Ruoxi didn't look back. Send me a list later. I know nothing about fishing. Remember to teach me tomorrow. After he finished talking, he got in the car and drove off. Right at that moment, things started getting lively again down there. I looked down. Those 3 guys were reeling in fish one after another again. The others watching were so jealous. No wonder they're famous online. You guys are ruthless. How many fish have you caught already? Bro, teach us your ways. What's the trick? Don't be jealous, this is just basic stuff. He didn't say a word about the bait. Not even a hint about it. No way he'd spill the secret. Otherwise, they'd have no advantage left. I quietly sized up the area. The bait really works better than normal. But it's not overpowered. I'd say it attracts 2 or 3 times more fish. It's already 9 a.m. now. The sun's getting higher. It's starting to get really hot. I'm sweating on my forehead. And there's no shade by the dam at all. I looked up at the sky. A thought popped into my mind. I need to set up a canopy or a small hut. If I get sun like this every day, I'll be baked dry soon. I took out my phone. First, I called my second uncle. How many people showed up at Qingmu Reservoir? I gave him a quick rundown. Told him to let my aunt know too. With this many people today, go ahead and start making lunch. Just as I hung up, I heard engines roaring from the top of the dam again. This time it wasn't just one car. 3 vehicles came one after another. All off-road vehicles. 7 or 8 people piled out as soon as the doors opened. There were both men and women. The guy in front caught everyone's eye. He was huge, almost unreal. He had to be at least 6 feet 3 inches. Broad shoulders and a thick back. Just standing there, he looked intimidating. The big guy in charge walked up to me. His voice was loud and rough. Actually fits his build. Standing next to him made me feel a little uneasy. So I just nodded and asked, "Are you looking for me? You guys here for fishing?" A young man carrying fishing gear followed quickly. He hurried to catch up. He smiled and tried to break the ice. "Boss, don't mind us. My buddy looks scary, but he's a nice guy. He actually seems kinda goofy when he smiles." The big guy did pull a smile. But it looked pretty awkward. Honestly, scarier than not smiling. I thought, it was better if you didn't explain. Now he seems even more suspicious. But I just replied, "Yeah, I can tell." Then another woman walked over. She had a pretty face. But she had a lot of tattoos on her arms and neck. She looked a bit laid back. She went straight to the boss and asked, "Was the big fish in yesterday's video caught here? Got anything bigger in the water?" I thought of that dark shadow flashing by in the water yesterday afternoon. That huge blur in the water from yesterday came to mind. He sounded calm. "Of course. There are definitely some. Over 100 pounds, for sure. Depends if you can pull them in. That thing definitely broke 100. I'm sure about that." The woman then asked about the price. "Today, $280 for the whole day. You deal with the fish yourself. If you return fish, we pay market price." Everyone looked a little shocked after hearing that. Not because it was expensive, but because the price was way too low to them. And just at that moment, suddenly someone shouted near the water. "Someone's being dragged into the water. Help." My face dropped immediately. I looked down right away. Sure enough, I saw someone in the water. And they were moving so fast. Didn't look like swimming. More like something was dragging them hard. It was pretty far away. Too far to see details. But I could tell. That person was clutching their fishing rod for dear life. Refusing to let go, no matter what. And right in front of that person under the water, a huge dark shadow kept darting back and forth. It was unbelievably fast. "What the heck is that?" The newcomers saw it too. Their eyes were about to pop out. "Is it really that big? That's got to be like 200 or 300 pounds. Everyone was just stunned. But I didn't have time to be shocked. I rushed downhill immediately. Hope nothing bad happens. If someone really dies here, Aoki Reservoir's little bit of good reputation would be wiped out right away. But the dam isn't close to the water. Even walking normally takes a few minutes. Halfway there, I saw that person still holding on to the fishing rod. I yelled out, "Let go. Drop it. Don't you want to live?" I shouted as I ran. The bystanders finally snapped out of it. They also yelled, "Let go. Let it go. Don't hold on." My heart was in my throat. No time to look closely. I dove straight into the water. I grew up near Aoki Reservoir. Not the best swimmer, but pretty good. In a few strokes I was next to them. I grabbed their arm. My other hand moved to grab their neck, ready to pull them back to shore. Suddenly a woman's voice exploded next to my ear, "Let me go. Pervert." She instantly started struggling. I froze for a sec. Looked closer. And was completely stunned. The person I was saving was actually the woman who arrived in the BMW M8. And just now, in the chaos, I might have touched somewhere I shouldn't have. But all I was thinking about was saving her. Didn't notice any of that. "Stop moving. I'm getting you out." I was already getting annoyed by her struggle. Had to yell at her. But we were both in the water. And she kept thrashing, splashing water everywhere. I opened my mouth and swallowed a bunch of water. I fought through it. Kept dragging her toward the shore. But suddenly, my arm hurt a ton all of a sudden. I instinctively let go. Looked down. And there were clear bite marks on my arm. It was bleeding too. But worse. It seemed like the woman sank all at once. Her shadow was gone from the surface in seconds. Is she crazy? I'm just trying to save her. I ignored the pain in my arm. Took a deep breath. And dove down again. I searched underwater. But couldn't feel anything. My chest was about to burst. Couldn't hold out much longer. I had to surface for air. Looked around for her. But the water was calm. Except for the small ripples I made. There was nothing there. I was about to dive again. When a familiar voice called from shore, "Hey, pervert, get up here. You scared I'll beat you up?" I turned my head, stunned. She was already standing on the bank. Staring at me coldly. I was soaked. And my summer clothes were thin to begin with. Now my clothes stuck to my body. And every curve showed. That's when I finally noticed. Her figure was really good. But her glare was even sharper. At this point, I finally realized I'd made a total fool of myself. She not only could swim, but she's actually very good at it. "Hey boss. You got a nice view. Now get out of the water." "Yeah, seriously, get up. Stop hiding in there." People on shore began egging me on. Getting rowdier and rowdier. I had no choice. I climbed up, totally embarrassed. Once I got out, I braced myself and explained, "Well, I swear I was really trying to save you. Believe it or not." The woman stared me down. Not backing off at all. Everyone else just stood watching. "But you actually jumped in." I gave a dry laugh. "Guess I'm just soft-hearted." The woman couldn't be bothered. She just said coldly, "Follow me." I knew I was in the wrong. Just trailed after her obediently. The group of fishers came down from the dam too. Still joking around behind us. "Boss, remember to charge us before your date." I smiled awkwardly at her. Signaled for a sec. then pulled out the payment code. And looked at the group. Grab your rods, guys. 7 of you. 280 each. 7 people, so let me see. Just as I was about to bring up the calculator, about to type it in, the woman got impatient. 1,960. Hurry up. I looked down. It was exactly the same as my calculation. I couldn't help glancing back at her. She was quick with numbers. What are you looking at? Her comment about elementary school math was a little embarrassing. After taking the money, I hurried after her. When we got up there, the woman finally stopped. Asked if there was somewhere to change. Any clean clothes? That's when I realized. I quickly said, the village is just down there. Come to my place to get changed. I turned around and headed for my wooling van. But the woman instantly sounded annoyed again. Hey, where are you going? Come on, drive me there. I looked back. She was next to her BMW. Still looking pissed. She spun the car around and drove straight down the mountain. She stayed quiet the whole way. I got the hint. Didn't try to chat. But I started to realize. This was probably because of the bait. What I gave the old angler crew yesterday was for smaller fish. So the fish they caught were all under 10 pounds. It could attract big fish too. But not as much. What I sold the woman today was made for neutral fish. So whatever bit it definitely wasn't small. Plus the shadow in the water earlier. That had to be the same monster from yesterday afternoon. Or maybe even bigger. How many massive fish are hiding in Aoki Reservoir? Even I have no idea. Not a clue myself.